leveraging each other's strengths. That's been one of the key factors which has driven Adi and Rani's success through over the last 5 years in their business. Welcome to the session, Adi and Rani. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for being on board. Let's get straight into it. So let's start off by maybe one of you explaining a bit about your business and the kind of services you provide.
Yeah, you can. Right. So we are a software company which helps businesses to refactor their tech stacks, and also we provide software programming boot camps and also life skills development boot camps. Along with that, we have our own SaaS, which is headless CMS solution, which bridges the gap between developers and businesses.
Interesting. Tell us a bit more about the second part of the business.
So the headless CMS solution is more about generally when a business has to create some amazing, interesting ideas, they have a roadblock in terms of CMS. So what we say is, okay, we have a solution which is a headless CMS where you can get the benefits of CMS, and as it's headless, so you have an open end to scale up to any limit you like. Like literally, sky's the limit for it. So
amazing.
it's
and
like,
sorry, what does CMS mean? If you could help explain that for the audience.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So CMS stands for Content Management System.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so a headless CMS is.
So traditional CMS is where you're provided everything, including the presentation layer, or you could say a UI. Headless CMS is you are not provided with the UI, or you cannot create the UI using the CMS, but you can create the soul or body of that UI using the CMS.
Interesting. And so what inspired you to come up with this idea?
Well, the interesting thing about this thing is that our company, which is a software development company, we always get clients which are always stuck in this dilemma. How can we have a solution which helps us to not to always approach a developer, and also it will help us to do the changes quickly by ourselves. So we already had a CMS, or sorry, a headless CMS. So what we thought was, okay, let's customize this and make it more like you can edit your websites. You can literally add any data points in your website, blogs, e-commerce products, e-courses, literally anything you can think of. Right. And it just literally like you have given a dashboard and you literally need zero coding skills.
Interesting. So the two of you have been running this business together. Rani and Adi, what would your specialisms be in the business?
Right. So I have a computer science background, so I'm a tech brain. While Rani has a business background, she's like a management brain.
And I did social science back in university, so I guess mostly social stuff.
Amazing. So we got the business brain, the social brain, and the tech brain all in one.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So as business partners, no doubt there are sometimes going to be when there are conflicts. And for the listeners in this for this video podcast, there are probably business owners out there who are also working in partnership and they experience conflicts. Let's face it, wherever you've got humans, you're going to have conflicts, and that's just life. But so tell us a bit more about how you guys manage conflicts when you come across these in your business.
There's a lot of trials and error involved, especially in the beginning, because again, we came from different countries, different cultures. I'm from Indonesia, Adi is from India. So yes, it's from the same part, it's like Asia, right? But then like there's some differences here and there. Even the language, because even though we speak English, turns out that there are phrases that like we use different phrases, so we have to make sure, is this what you mean?
Gotcha.
Also, it's one thing to consider that if business is your main priority and not your personal ego, then in that case, whatever feedback you get from the other side, if we consider that that is more to the idea and not to yourself, it helps a lot. Rather, the discussion becomes very fruitful.
Amazing. So distinguishing that whatever's being discussed is for the business itself, not for the person. So not to take it personally, but take it professionally instead.
Yes.
Awesome. Amazing. So you kind of have that mindset. It's more of a mindset thing rather than anything else. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take a look forward. I mean, you're in the tech space of a business area which is changing very fast. So in your field, what kind of changes do you think are things which are likely to challenge you the most?
Well, it's actually most from the tech and the non-tech side. So if I take the tech side, technology changes rapidly. And so we always have to keep updated our, you could say like, it's an academic term calling it as a syllabus, but more like a content for our boot camps. We always keep it updated so that it fits the job market, also the knowledge market. So in a way, that's a challenge for us to always be updated. And also when it comes to understanding the trends, the key thing here is that when it comes to technological trends, the base remains the same. It's just the top keeps on changing. So as long as we provide that base strong, we are in a good shape. So that's a challenge for us to keep that base very strong.
Amazing.
Yeah. To add to that, actually, again, coming back to the non-tech part of it, because see, tech is changing, right? But then unless you are someone who's really passionate about technology, then keeping up to date might come to be as tedious. So that's why in what we do and as part of my coaching, I make sure that people, they work in tech because that's what they want to do, not because that's what brings the money.
Amazing. And that's such an important aspect to balance out, isn't it, in life and in business, for longevity, really.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you guys are relatively young. We can tell you're relatively young, and that's so refreshing to see young entrepreneurs pushing boundaries in the industry. I mean, looking forwards, or rather looking backwards, who would you say are your key inspirers individually? It could be, like an entrepreneur out there. It could be your parents. It could be your family. Individually, who inspires you to keep pushing ahead and onwards?
Oh,
Or what inspires you, rather?
Right.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That would be my grandfather, not exactly young, but a figure anyway. He's the earliest figure that inspires me for being in entrepreneurship, because he came from mainland China to Indonesia, and then of course he, like, as an immigrant, then he worked here and there, and then eventually he started his own business with his father. So that spirit of going out and then make something out of yourself, like, I felt like I inherited that from him.
So forefathers, getting inspiration from them and what they've achieved in where they come from. And what about yourself, Adi? What inspires you?
So it's actually a mix of my parents and myself. So my parents, they both worked in the government sector, and from there I learned how to be ethical. While when it comes to myself, I always look back what struggle I have done. So if I don't push myself forward, it's more like doing injustice of my past. So I just need to make sure I don't do injustice what I was before. Like the effort shouldn't go in vain. So that continuously keeps me up, like a cycle within that. Okay, we just need to move forward. Like even though it's failed now, okay, it won't fail now. Just keep moving. You are till here. You are just climb the mountain right now. Don't lose hopes. Otherwise, it's gonna be injustice for what you have done so far.
Never look back. Keep looking forward. Amazing.
Yeah.
So in your business, you're continuously coming across customers and negotiating with suppliers, etc. I mean, for the listeners out here, what advice would you give to the people who are listening on how to win more business or how to win more customers? What's worked for you to win customers, and what advice would you give to other people?
Actually, the main thing to consider here is if you want to gain a business, it's more like you need to understand what they are saying rather than you becoming a salesy person and telling what you want to offer. If you are a listener, then because generally people like to talk, so you need to be a listener. So if you're a listener, that becomes like a hook. And if you are talking in terms of their pain points rather than your business sales, it helps a lot.
Amazing.
So it gives them an understanding that you're understanding them, you are in sync with them, and you're on the same page with them. So we attended a lot of networking events in person. To be super honest with you, social media ads never worked for us. It's just maybe we are doing something wrong, but always in-person networking, talking with people face to face helped us a lot, and that drove a lot of success for our business.
Amazing. So face-to-face talking. And yourself, Rani, what would you like to share?
Yeah, it's again adding to that, word of mouth helps, as well as building an authentic relationships. Authentic here means like not being, it doesn't always mean like 100% be open of who you are. It's just like, for instance, like we just met for the first time, right? But it's instead of me trying to sell, hey, I'm doing this, we're doing this service, would you like to buy, or these are the benefits, it's more about just like between two people, I just get to know each other. That like that's the starting point. And also giving, because we've been in this co-working space for around 1 year, and the fact that anything tech related, if there are any questions, they come to us, or specifically to Adi, then they become to know, oh yeah, he's very helpful, like I want to go with him.
Amazing. So you almost building on that old phrase, people buy people, not necessarily the product initially. So become that person that people want to buy into. Kind of working on the know, the like, and the trust. Once people get to know you, they like you. When they like you, they trust you. When they trust you, they probably do business with you. So from your perspective, and like you said, Facebook or social media ads didn't really work well for you. And you're not the only ones. Social media ads don't work for many people, but it was a networking and the relationship building marketing that worked well for you. What would you say, in addition to being authentic and being helpful, that really helped you guys out over there? In fact, let me then make that question more streamlined. How do you build trust in your industry? What do you think creates trust for you?
Right. So it's more like building a relationship first, but it's not like every time you have to build relationship, because time doesn't allow you. So in that case, you need to deliver something with authenticity, and that is trust. For instance, like to give a recent example of our client, that they literally put trust in us blindly, because don't know why, but it's good that they did. We stood with it by providing the whatever solution that we promised during that timeline, during that resource, that budget, and we did 2x of that, what we said. So it's better to say less and give more rather than saying more and giving less. So that helps to build the trust. And it also helps for the person in front of you, that they don't build a lot of expectations, because if you start to say that, okay, we will do this, we will do that, we'll do that, expectations are built up, and we are humans, we need to admit that, and we cannot do everything. But if we realistically say that we can do this later, the other thing we can see for later thing, then it gives them more of a clarity that, okay, these people are authentic, they are practical, they are not making things. So it builds trust a lot.
Really wise words. Love it. Final question. We are running out of time, so I'll squeeze in the final question. Maybe both of you guys can have a stab at answering this rather. If you were to start your business again, or businesses again, what would you do differently?
If I have to do something differently, I would first do a research and do things differently, because I'm that kind of a person who gets an idea and start to implement the solution, produce it, and then see if it sells or not. But it's more like, if I have to reverse engineer it, I would first get an idea, discuss with people who I trust, get their people, and then implement it. So that I would do differently.
Fantastic. And what about yourself, Rani?
Yeah, it's definitely following an audience first, like building that super fans. That could mean building your own brand first, or that business, or maybe because it's new business, right? So maybe your own brand. And then once we have that audiences, it's should be easier to sell that product rather than product first and then the audience later.
So both kind of talking about understanding the audience and market first and trialing it out really, really well. Guys, this is amazing. Thank you very much for being so abundant with your experiences and knowledge that you've shared it today. I'm very sure the people listening today are going to get bags and bags of that. I'm going to let you go on this Friday afternoon time. Go and have a wonderful weekend. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit.